Alright, let's see here. The Daily Bugle's going out of business, just like every other newspaper. What else? Oh, Deadpool's running for president. That's not gonna go well. Oh! The reviews for the new Venom movie are out. Let's check out these. Oh, hey man, how's it going?
Hey Spider-Man, what are you up to?
Oh, I was actually just about to check out the reviews for your new movie, man.
Awesome. What are people saying? I bet you they love it.
Well, let's see here. Oh.
So they're really good?
They're great. Hey, what's up guys? I'm Jared Poirier, that's the theme music, and that means that you're watching my movie review show where I talk about movies. Okay, so all of YouTube is shitting on Venom right now, and now it's my turn. So in case you don't know, Venom is the new superhero film from Sony Pictures. So going into this movie, I definitely wasn't expecting a masterpiece. Sony does not have a good track record when it comes to producing superhero films. This is the studio that gave us the amazing Spider-Man movies, and they've just demonstrated in the past that they really know how to screw up a superhero film. But they had some involvement with Spider-Man Homecoming, which did turn out pretty good. And also, I was pretty excited for the idea of a Venom movie, and Venom is a character that I grew up with, so I was excited to see him get a movie of his own. So Venom is all about an alien symbiote that comes from outer space. It takes over the body of this reporter and starts eating people. So before I get into all the bad stuff in this movie, and there is a whole pile of bad stuff, I just wanted to discuss some of the things that this movie did well. So I actually really like this director, Ruben Fleischer. I think that he is very talented. Zombieland was a movie that I really enjoyed watching in the cinema. And even in this crappy movie, there is some good filmmaking on display. There's some pretty good use of soft focus and some very interesting transitions as well. There's parts where like a truck or a streetcar will move through the frame and that will guide the transition. And yeah, some other just interesting kind of shots, kind of a small thing, but when Tom Hardy opens the fridge, they actually put the camera in the fridge behind the beers. I kind of liked that. So yeah, just some pretty good and pretty interesting camera work here. And I don't think that you can fully blame the director for this movie turning out bad. Another thing that I liked in this movie, I did like how some stuff was set up in the script. For instance, when Eddie Brock first gets infected by the Venom, it's actually from a character that he knows. And I also liked that before he basically becomes Venom, Eddie Brock is already having some problems. Basically, his life is already crumbling before Venom even comes into the picture. Aside from setting up and paying off a couple of things in the script, there were a few things in this film that I enjoyed because they were comic book accurate. For instance, I really liked how Venom has a strong reaction to sound. That was something that's well founded in the comics. Basically, if there's any sort of like really loud sound, like a bell ringing very loudly or a sonic boom, that's something that will really disturb Venom. And while we're speaking of sound, I really like what the sound production team here did with the voice of Venom when he's speaking or when he's talking inside of Eddie Brock's head. Yeah, they just made the voice sound really cool. A lot of layers and just a lot of bass to the voice. And when it comes to Tom Hardy's performance in this movie, obviously I've seen him in better movies and I've seen him give better performances. But I did think that his performance here was pretty entertaining. Definitely one of the better parts of this movie. He's got really funny mannerisms in this movie when Venom starts to kind of take over his body and he doesn't understand what the hell is going on. And I have to say that in this movie, Tom Hardy is pretty fun to watch. And that's pretty much all the good stuff, guys. Now it's time to get into the shitty stuff. So my first complaint with this movie is that the plot is incredibly formulaic, incredibly generic. We've seen this plot done in superhero films like a bazillion times by now. In fact, within the first 20 minutes, I actually turned to my buddy who I was seeing the movie with, and I said pretty much what the twist of the movie was gonna be. Well, spoiler alert, the evil scientist dude who's experimenting with the Venoms, he ends up becoming evil Venom and fights Venom. So yeah, super generic and predictable plot. Another thing is that the story in this movie really gets bogged down by all of these friggin' boring lab scenes. This is something that's been in a lot of superhero movies. This actually reminded me of like really early superhero films like the Ang Lee Hulk movie and stuff stuff like that, where they just spend so much time in a lab. Fan 4 Stick is another one. Just a really boring setting, sitting around in this lab. Come on, movie, you can do better than this. And yeah, there's just so many problems with the story and with the plot here. Some of that is because of the editing, but a lot of it I suspect from the fact that this movie had like 4 writers. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about the action. The action in this movie is terrible. So let's just go through some of the action scenes quick. The first action scene in this movie, Tom Hardy has a motorcycle and he gets chased by these drones, and the drones crash into like trucks and the trucks start flipping. It makes no sense at all. There's another action scene like right after that where Venom is fighting all of these different like soldier Navy SEALs guys, and this scene is nothing. This scene is nothing. The guys are just throwing smoke grenades and shooting around, and every once in a while like Venom jumps and kind of grabs a guy and bites one of his arms off or something like that, but really you just can't see anything. It's incredibly smoky, and yeah, just a waste of the character Venom with these action scenes. And the last action scene in this movie is by far the worst, and that actually ties in perfectly with our next category, which is effects. The CGI in this movie is friggin' terrible. I saw this movie in IMAX. That definitely didn't help, but the effects in this movie, particularly in that last action scene that I was talking about, are really terrible. Basically, you have 2 kind of slimy, darkly lit, gooey Venom things fighting in the dark. It just looks like 2 boogers fighting. And yeah, this action scene actually reminded me of the movie Spawn, and that's something that you don't want to be reminded of. And speaking of reminding me of things that are terrible, this movie features Riz Ahmed. You might know him as the brown dude from Nightcrawler. Anyway, in this movie he's like evil scientist guy, and his character is actually pretty similar to Jesse Eisenberg's character in Batman vs. Superman. And I have to admit that while I was watching this movie, I actually kind of started to wonder if he was worse than Jesse Eisenberg. And he's not. But even the fact that I was thinking that is not a good sign. So yeah guys, this movie's really, really bad. It's one of the worst superhero movies that I've ever seen. It's pretty much a complete disaster. This movie is a mess. There was no cohesion in the way that it was written and the way that it was edited, and it just turned out a clusterfuck. And the post-credit scene is by far the worst part of this movie. I've already given you guys the spoiler warning. I guess I'll spoil this scene too. Basically this scene has... Oh, I don't know how did they even get him to do this. This scene has Woody Harrelson. He's locked up in like this prison, and then, oh my god, the line he says. He's got like red hair, and then he says, "There will be carnage." And, oh god. Can they please not make a sequel to this movie? Anyway guys, that's going to be it for this review. Don't forget to join me in my next video where Ralph and Damien from Black Lotus Productions are going to be coming on my channel to talk about some good movies. We're going to be doing our favorite alien movies. So yeah guys, look forward to that. But for now, that's going to be it for this video. As always, thank you guys so much for watching. I seriously love you guys, and I'll see you guys next time.
Venom, 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 Venom. Got a dog, gonna pet him. My pants are denim, and sometimes I wet him. Venom, 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 Venom.